Kim and Diddy both in on it, now there's a price to pay for this Hollywood stuff. Because once you go in, you can't come out. And if one gets turned in, then the secrets come out. In case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, in case you guys didn't know, Diddy, as we all know, is facing crazy allegations.
Kanye was investigating Kim Kardashian and the rest of the Kardashians after he told us about Diddy. There's a new lawsuit against Kanye West from his former employee who said that he was hired as a director of intelligence and he was hired to look into Kim Kardashian and the rest of the Kardashian for alleged trafficking.
Oh my goodness. Just when you thought the drama between Kanye and the Kardashian-Jenner clan couldn't get any juicier, wait until you hear this bombshell. Everyone's been buzzing about how Kanye allegedly exposed Kim K and Kris Jenner's involvement in a shocking plot to silence Diddy's alleged victims. I mean, we all know Kanye's been coming for the Kardashians' necks for what feels like forever, and usually, people just roll their eyes and say, "Oh, there goes Kanye again." But honey, this time it's different. The tea is scalding hot because apparently Kim and Kris weren't just casual acquaintances in Diddy's circle. They were allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes in some pretty shady business dealings. And get this, the moment Diddy's homes were raided by the feds, Kim practically broke the sound barrier, hitting that unfollow button across all her social media platforms. Coincidence? I think not. The way Kim and Kris have been desperately trying to distance themselves from Diddy in public has everyone raising their eyebrows and wondering, are they really working behind the scenes to silence Diddy's victims and get his case dismissed? The plot thickens because the longer this Diddy case drags on, more and more celebrities are getting dragged into this mess, either for partying with him or, in Kim and Kris's case, allegedly helping cover everything up.
The big cake, the little cage, the big cake and the little cage.
Let me spill some more tea because this gets even better. Back when Diddy was the person to be seen with, the Kardashians were practically tripping over themselves trying to get close to him. But oh honey, the second Diddy got arrested, the entire Kardashian clan went into full panic mode. They started scrubbing their social media faster than you can say damage control. Kim was the first one to drop Diddy like last season's handbag, and then, wouldn't you know it, the rest of the family followed suit like dominoes. They were deleting posts, pictures, mentions, literally anything that could connect them to Diddy. But wait, it gets even more interesting. They allegedly launched this whole secret media campaign to make sure everyone knew they were distancing themselves from Diddy and his shenanigans. I mean, these people were so terrified of getting caught up in the Diddy scandal that an insider spilled to In Touch Weekly that the Kardashians were absolutely losing it over their connections to him. According to this mystery source, Kris was scrambling like a mom before unexpected house guests. But here's the gag. That original article, poof, vanished into thin air, probably thanks to their PR machine working overtime to make it look like they're totally unbothered by the whole thing.
Did y'all know that Khloe Kardashian was on tour with Diddy when she was 16 years old? And then Khloe has an Instagram post from 2019 in which she says the famous catchphrase, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Oh, there's some sort of closeness there with the whole family, but it does seem like she has remained the closest to Diddy. And not just him. I know you guys remember she dated French Montana, so she was always around that crowd. I remember her talking about Diddy and crew a lot in the episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I mean, it was a thing. She was with a lot of these people. I will say, I have noticed Khloe with her own daughter, her own children, is very overprotective. She does not let her children go with just anyone. There was a couple episodes she would not let True go with her mom. It says a lot. I just want to know, like, why 16 for what? She doesn't sing, she doesn't dance. Why be on tour?
Now, let me take you back in time for a moment, because this story has layers. We're talking pre-Keeping Up with the Kardashians era, when the family was still mainly known because of Robert Kardashian and that whole O.J. Simpson trial situation. Here's where things get really interesting, and honestly, a bit concerning. Khloe, who wasn't even a reality TV star yet or really doing anything in entertainment, was somehow allowed to go on tour with Diddy. And here's the thing that's making everyone's head spin. Nobody could figure out what she was actually doing there. Was she a singer, a backup dancer, a stylist, an assistant? The mystery deepens because apparently she wasn't even on Diddy's payroll. She was just there for the vibes at 16 years old.
Why would a 16-year-old Khloe Kardashian go on tour with P. Diddy?
I definitely was drinking at 16.
Yeah, Chloe was on tour with Puff at 16.
I did not start drinking till later.
You were driving cars at 15.
Ever since Diddy's arrest, a lot of people have been talking about the Kardashians, specifically Kim and Kris. Now, I'm not saying don't focus on Kim and Kris, but from old episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the one that was closest to Diddy, it seems, was definitely Khloe. And why would a 16-year-old Khloe be on tour with Diddy? Khloe, from what we know, never sang, was never a singer or a dancer. So what was she doing on tour with him at 16 years old? And we also know that this relationship has been going on for years then, probably before she was 16.
Now, why on earth would anyone let their teenage daughter hang around in that crowd? It's a question that's been raising eyebrows for years, and honestly, we'll probably never know the full story. But hold on to your seats because this is just one thread in this tangled web of connections between the Kardashians and Diddy. There's this clip from KUWTK that's been making the rounds, and oh my word, you won't believe what Khloe spilled about these wild Diddy parties. She was having this conversation with Kourtney, and she did not hold back. She's talking about people at these parties being in their birthday suits, confirming that Diddy's infamous parties were exactly what everyone whispered about. Poor Kourtney was living for these details, and Khloe just kept the tea coming. She even dropped names, including Justin Bieber, who was only 20 at the time.
So who was with you this weekend? A bunch of my friends. Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber, so far French so good. Montana.
At 5:30 a.m. of this party, I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved it.
Speaking of Justin Bieber, his presence at these freak-offs shouldn't shock anyone, considering the rumors that he was allegedly one of Diddy's favorites at the time. But let me tell you, watching Kourtney get major FOMO after hearing about these parties just tells you everything you need to know about the Kardashians' relationship with Diddy. And honey, let me tell you, Khloe's connection to Diddy might actually be the most innocent one in this whole mess. Let's talk about Kim, shall we? One of the earliest sightings of Kim with Diddy was at one of his parties back when she was just Paris Hilton's stylist. But by 2008, suddenly Kim was everywhere Diddy was, showing up at all these A-list events. And wouldn't you know it, the rest of the Kardashian clan started popping up at these gatherings too. In 2009, Khloe made an appearance at one of Diddy's famous white parties at his Beverly Hills mansion. Then in 2010, Kim and Kourtney were spotted at Andre Harrell's birthday bash with Diddy. And let me tell you something, with how carefully planned out the Kardashians' lives are, these weren't just random coincidences. And who's the mastermind behind all these perfectly orchestrated appearances? None other than momager extraordinaire, Kris Jenner. Kris and Diddy have had this super close relationship for years, and she made sure her girls were always in Diddy's orbit. Remember when Kris had her own show? She had Diddy on as a guest, and he was practically flirting with her on air, saying he'd had a crush on her forever. At first, everyone thought it was just friendly banter, but now, people are looking at that interview with very different eyes.
This week, I've been sent this clip of P. Diddy and Kris Kardashian chatting literally hundreds of times. This clip was taken in 2013 at a Hollywood Walk of Fame event celebrating Babyface. I can only assume they're talking about Khloe Kardashian because Khloe went with Kris to this event. I've also been sent clips of P. Diddy right before he got arrested and Kendall Jenner in Dubai. Here's what I'm seeing.
It was so freaking amazing, and that girl, Val, is it Val? She has her ish together, like really. It was super cool, and I don't think she thought she was gonna flake on us, did she? Because that night, she was like, thought she was getting interviewed. But she had the best time. She thought it was like such a cool place, and I love that. Am I in your way? Is this your first, second? This is my third. My first two times were horrible. Horrible. This is so fun.
Now, let me drop this bombshell. You know how the Kardashians became famous, right? That infamous tape with Kim and Ray J. Well, apparently, that leak wasn't a leak at all. Word on the street is that Kris orchestrated the whole thing. She supposedly handpicked Ray J herself and had them sign contracts and everything. But wait, it gets even more twisted. They say Kris actually made them film multiple versions and then picked the one where Kim looked best. Can you imagine watching your daughter's intimate moments and being like, let's go with this angle? But here's where it gets even juicier. Apparently, Kris wasn't working alone in this master plan. Her good friend Diddy allegedly helped her review the contract and even gave his input on which angles would work best for release. Now, Kanye's been trying to expose the Kardashians' shadiness for years, but people just dismissed him as being dramatic.
Stay in Kardashian land, for Christ's sake. It's all women there, and I got a son in my house, and I got the nanny stalking me. I got the mother, like y'all think y'all got a mother-in-law? I got the mother-in-law of all mother-in-laws. And it was just, let me tell you what happened. It's like, last Christmas, my family came in. They all flew in, like 5 of my family members, because it's been a year after I've been in a hospital and put in UCLA for mental health issues. And they came to give me some love for Christmas. And the family got on the phone together and they decided that it's their tradition to go over Courtney's house and open up gifts. And that it wasn't enough room for my family to be there that morning, and that my family that flew in could watch my kids open up gifts later that afternoon. And I didn't have a voice, and there was no man with a voice in that family. So yeah, I'm hurt. Yeah, I'm hurt by a lot of shit. But mostly I miss my dad.
But now that all these connections between Diddy and the Kardashians are coming to light, people are starting to think maybe Kanye wasn't so crazy after all. And speaking of connections, let's talk about Kris's boyfriend, Corey Gamble. Rumor has it he used to do all sorts of dirty work for Diddy, including allegedly helping clean up Kim Porter's house after she passed away. They're saying Diddy hired someone to remove anything that might connect him to her death, and that someone might have been Corey Gamble. People have been analyzing photos from Kim Porter's house from that tragic day, and some are saying Corey was there even before the police arrived. And honestly, it's not that hard to believe Corey would be involved, considering he's been linked to several cases involving celebrities being drugged. Kanye didn't hold back when he called Corey out on Twitter, saying, God has a plan to remove the godless Corey, and spilling how Corey used to be around Diddy's family before sliding into Kris's life after her divorce. But wait, there's more. Let me tell you about another sketchy connection, Lou Taylor. She owns this Hollywood talent management company, and she and her husband are tight with both Diddy and Kris. People are saying they sometimes work together to con other celebrities through some seriously shady business dealings. They've allegedly even gone as far as making up mental health issues for certain celebrities to get them medicated and declared unfit to manage their own money. Remember what happened to Britney Spears? That whole conservatorship nightmare? Apparently, the Kardashians had their fingers in that pie too, supposedly raking in a whopping $600 million of Britney's hard-earned cash. And guess what? They allegedly tried to pull the same stunt with Kanye.
They tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though. I mean, look, they would have Michael Jackson or worse.
Cast your minds back to 2020 when Kanye went on that wild internet rant accusing Kim and her family of trying to get him locked up and take his kids away. He was tweeting things like, Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up like in the movie Get Out because I cried about saving my daughter's life yesterday, and Kim tried to bring a doctor to lock me up. At first, Kanye's PR team tried to play it off like he was just off his medication. But then the truth came out. Apparently, Kim and Kris had been working with Kanye's dentist to get him hooked on nitrous, which he didn't even need. This all blew up when Kanye's former chief of staff, Milo Yiannopoulos, filed an official court affidavit exposing how dentist Thomas Connolly was supplying Kanye with addictive prescription meds he didn't need, all to control him and his money. Milo spilled all the tea in this explosive Twitter thread, saying things like, "There's a reason Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, can't successfully release music or clothing anymore," and "Connolly got Ye hooked on nitrous, laughing gas." to diminish Ye's mental faculties so Connolly and his business associates could extract millions from him. And guess what? Kim and Kris were allegedly in cahoots with this Connolly character, getting their own cut of the profits.
But I legitimately, like, you've been medicated. They've put you away, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, we talked before, and you were saying that they had you on medication, but the medication with your creativity. But what did it do to you?
The main thing that it did is it destroyed my confidence. It made me this shell of who I really am. They told me I was bipolar. And I remember going on TMZ and saying, slavery is a choice. And they medicated me for saying that, for having that opinion and saying it out loud.
What you were talking about is people making decisions that would enslave them financially and enslave their lives.
Now, you might be wondering, where were they keeping all this illegal money? They couldn't exactly keep it in the bank or stuff it under their mattresses. Well, hold on to your seats because this is where it gets really wild. They were allegedly using Kris Jenner's church. Yes, you heard that right. The California Community Church, whose members just happen to be Hollywood elite like Lou Taylor and Thomas Connolly. But this isn't your regular Sunday service situation. Word on the street is that this church is actually a money laundering front for the Kardashians. It's where they supposedly channel all the funds they don't want the government knowing about. And guess who's allegedly a major patron? Diddy himself. They say his huge donations weren't just for building the kingdom. A big chunk of that money was allegedly going towards paying off victims to keep quiet or paying enforcers to threaten the ones who wouldn't take the hush money.
So y'all know how it just was released that Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble had something to do with Diddy recently. If you go look, Corey Gamble had some dealings with Diddy. I'm not going to go into his story. This ain't about Corey. Sorry, Corey. You for another day. So apparently there is allegedly a secret video footage that has released of Kris Jenner and Diddy's house. I don't know too much about that. That's all I know, some secret video. Okay, let's get past that. Judgment is here, y'all. 24 hours before the raid, Kim Kardashian decides to unfollow Diddy, right? Well, come to find out, this person by the name of Lou Taylor is apparently Diddy's manager. And this Lou Taylor woman is also on the board of Hillsong's church home. Follow me, go with me. They is doing all of this, child, in the name of the Lord. Just follow the story. Now, to cover myself, everything in this video is a legend, honey. This is what I digged up, and I don't know how much truth is to it, but there's reportings, okay? So everything that I'm saying is allegedly. Keep that in mind. So, Lou Taylor apparently is paying off, allegedly, some of Diddy's victims from this slush fund through some church fund, okay? Not only that, Kim Kardashian mama has been making these girls pay 10% tithes to some church that Lou Taylor and her husband is basically owner, co-owner, or whatever. So I was like, let me look into this Lou Taylor person. I'm thinking Lou Taylor was a guy who was a woman with a husband, whole husband, and they doing ministry and everything. Now, mind you, y'all remember the whole thing with Britney Spears? So come to find out, Lou Taylor, this gets deep, y'all, hold on. Okay, so Lou Taylor is the CEO of TriStar Sports and Entertainment. She's like a business manager icon. Now, Mike, do y'all know the Lohans? What's the Lindsay Lohan? So she apparently, allegedly, she has been behind most of these stars' conservatorship situations, especially Britney Spears.
Now, some might say this is just another wild conspiracy theory, but think about it. Why else would Kanye be so determined to expose the Kardashians? Sources are saying he's got receipts proving how Kim and Kris not only tried to silence Diddy's victims, but also helped handle some of his expenses to get him out of jail after his arrest. Some people might write this all off as one huge coincidence, but what do you think? Is Kanye really onto something here? Or is he just off his meds? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to stick around for more juicy stories like this one.